Hey, it's Eric G. Around the House is sponsored by Baldwin Hardware. For 75 years, Baldwin Hardware has been known for its first-class quality and craftsmanship in door and cabinetry hardware. As an alumnus of the Baldwin Hardware Design Council, I can say I have seen the details and quality from design to the finished product. If you're looking for a new style and old-world craftsmanship, I can tell you there is only one Baldwin Hardware. Check out what would look great in your home at baldwinhardware.com.
It's Around the House.
But if you're really trying to create that place to help relax and unwind, maybe it's after a long day at work or whatever, I want you to kind of start, and again, this comes down to preference, but generally speaking, I want you to start with a more neutral palette. I mean, if you come into a room that's painted bright red, that might not be your relaxing space. And if you look at, color and how you react to it, that's probably the worst space for you. But more of a neutral palette, and then taking a look at what you have in that. If it's a living room, for instance, maybe, maximizing the fireplace where you could have a fire in the wintertime and relax with it. Or maybe you've got, you don't have a place that you got a fireplace. Maybe you put an electric fireplace in there to give you that feeling of a fireplace.
When it comes to remodeling and renovating your home, there is a lot to know, but we've got you covered. This is Around the House.
Welcome to the Around the House show. This is where we help you get the most out of your home through information and education. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Eric G. If you want to find out more about us, head over to AroundTheHouseOnline.com. You can find my videos over there from Around the House Northwest television show. You can stream online. If you haven't caught the television show, you can grab it on YouTube. You can grab it on Hulu, Amazon, and of course over at the kptv.com website as well. You can catch it over there. Just look for the Around the House banner. Well, today I wanted to talk about 5 projects to make your house feel more like a home. And I've had a couple questions about this, and I thought, if I get enough questions on something, it's obviously something we should talk about. And so how do you take a home and make it feel more homey for you? And some of this is really going to come down to your style, maybe the self-awareness of knowing what you like, and 2, working on those projects. So let's talk about it. My first one here is paint colors. And, there's lots of different styles out there. We've had, over the years, the last almost decade has been a decade of gray tones where you have different colors, the gray, shiplap. It's kind of the Chip and Joanna Gaines look, if you know what I mean. That has been hot. And nowadays, we've got color is such a big part of things. So, there's a lot of different colors out there. We're seeing some of the 70s and 80s retro colors come back reimagined, where there's a new avocado green. That's not the, 1970s appliance avocado green, but it's a new reimagined version of it. It's just kind of like a few years ago when gold came back. It didn't come back as the 1980s cheap hardware gold. It came back as the brushed gold or matte gold or different things like that. So really, these colors have come back, and so it's a great time to sit there and really embrace your favorite colors. And the great thing with paint is it's an easy DIY project. And something, if you don't like it in a couple years, you can go back and repaint it, and it's not that big a deal. It's not like you're putting tile down or a kitchen where it's going to have to last a decade or two before you want to do it again, because otherwise you're just wasting money. So really, painting is something that you can do all around. And, accent walls aren't as big as they used to be, but just picking something that is going to be relaxing and homey for your style. And that's one of the big things that I think we should talk about, is just creating something that fits your home and your style. And your home is a big part. I have seen some dramatic projects out there. There was one, I think it was the Italian embassy in Washington, D.C. It had this old classic home. Then you went inside and it was all this very contemporary looking Italian kitchen inside this very old 200-year-old home. And to me, that's not my favorite look. But if it's you and it's your home, knock yourself out. But really finding that style and color is big. When in doubt, bring a designer in to give you a hand. And there's things that you want to have, work together. Your furniture, your flooring, all those different things need to be a part of all this. So spending some time on paint colors and really getting that dialed in. And maybe you do a different color in a different room. Maybe you do some different stuff like that, and you're going to be okay. So have some fun with paint. Embrace it. I wouldn't go through an old house and be painting all the woodwork and stuff because that can be such a pain to bring back and restore later. But maybe doing some walls, maybe taking out some of the old dated wallpaper, even putting new stuff up. A change of color can make it feel like it's more yours, and especially if you moved into a house that had been painted before, and maybe you've been in there for a year or two and you haven't tackled those projects. Maybe that builder beige color that's all around is there. Maybe your home is kind of one of the styles that have gone away. We used to see that there was that Hollywood Regency style that looked like, Liberace's yard sale. That has kind of gone away with all the mirrored things. It's not as popular as it once was. And those are things that, styles have come around. And whether you're contemporary or traditional, there's some cool things to do out there. But really, paint color or wallpaper or a wall color is something to sure consider because it can be a game changer for you in your home. And, it's something that's really easy. It's something that, I recommend getting a good paint. Cheap paint is one of the worst things you can do because you're going to need twice as much of it because it doesn't cover. And if you're going over some older colors, make sure you get the primer out. Primer's a good thing. Don't buy into the paint and primer in one. It's not optimal. If it's something that you're going over in a big color change, like red to blue or red to white or dark blue to light blue, whatever else, I would go through and prime it first. Now, one little trick that I do for painting projects like this, and I talk to my paint store and rely on them, but many times with a lot of the primers out there, if you're changing colors drastically, instead of, especially if you're going to another dark color, tinting that primer can be another good one. You can go through, tint the primer. If that primer company will allow it, tinting it in there can get you almost like you've got a next first coat going. So that can save you a bunch on paint if you don't have to buy another coat for another gallon. So something to think about. That is something that's really cool. You can go through and really get that taken a look at and tackle that project. So it's something easy to do. That is one great way to make your house feel like I'm home. Now, the second one here on the list is a big one. And this, I think, is great for everyone's mental health. I mean, we are seeing all of the chaos in the world right now. I don't have to tell you that because if you turn on any news cycle, between what's going on in politics in the U.S. here to what's going on over in the Ukraine to, of course, the horrible atrocities in Israel that's going on over there against those people, it's just really, really stressful if you're turning the news on. So how do you create a place to relax that is your place to turn off all the outside noise for a little bit of self-care? And that can be something that really creates a place in your home for you to enjoy. Now, this could be in a different places depending on who you are. Sometimes creating that master bedroom or bedroom that you can have as your place of solitude, that you can go chill, maybe read a book, maybe even watch television like it was a living room. That's another place right there. Or even a master bedroom. Your bathroom, you could create a place that maybe you're going to go take a bath, you're going to take a steam shower or something like that. Creating a place to relax is really big. And that's just a great, really place for self-care that you can do. So again, taking that place in your home that makes sense. Where is it that you wish you could hang out? Maybe it's an outdoor space. Maybe it's an outside patio or a side patio or something like that, where you want to make it look like a little bit of a garden. You want to have a place to relax outside. Whatever that is, creating that place of solace or solitude for you can be really important. And so think about where that space is in your home. Maybe it's inside, maybe it's outside, like I said. And what can you do to make it more of a relaxing place? Now, when we come back, I want to talk more about this because there's some details of creating a relaxing space that's important. And it's a lot of controlling of the environment around you And there's some other tips and tricks I want to give with that as well, because this is just not a checkbox of, hey, this is what you need to do. This is all about you and how you relax and what you're looking for. We'll talk about that more just as soon as Around the House returns.
What's up? This is Stick
And Satchel from Steel Panther, and you are listening to
Around the House with Eric G.
Yeah.
We love Eric G, and you should too.
When I'm down, I make a call. Got the number written on the wall. Thoughts is busy, then I try again.
Welcome back to the Around the House show. This is where we help you get the most out of your home through information and education. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Eric G. Well, we're talking about things you can do to create a relaxing place right now in your home. And so kind of the overall discussion here is really trying to create a place to make it feel more like home. And this has been something that's been coming up with some questions that came in over on our website, Around the House Online, and it's been a good one. So I thought, okay, let's create a place to relax, which is one of the things that you can do. We were just talking about it last segment, about places that you can create in your home to be more relaxing. Now, in our first segment here, we were talking about, color. But if you're really trying to create that place to help relax and unwind, maybe it's after a long day at work or whatever, I want you to kind of start, and again, this comes down to preference, but generally speaking, I want you to start with a more neutral palette. I mean, if you come into a room that's painted bright red, that might not be your relaxing space. And if you look at, color and how you react to it, that's probably the worst space for you. But more of a neutral palette, and then taking a look at what you have in that. If it's a living room, for instance, maybe, maximizing the fireplace where you could have a fire in the wintertime and relax with it. Or maybe you've got, you don't have a place that you got to have a fireplace. Maybe you put an electric fireplace in there to give you that feeling of a fireplace. Maybe you're going to put in, sometimes candles or fake candles, like battery powered ones can be good. Now, here's the thing that I think is really cool. If you can bring the outdoors in to make it feel a little more natural, that is good as well, when you're trying to just create that relaxing, unwinding space. But a lot of this does come down to you and your space. What is relaxing to you? Because what is relaxing to one person might not always be relaxing to another person. Now, I like color, but I think it needs to be kind of specific. If you want to make it, if the outdoors relaxes you, maybe you want to have more natural colors. If you're more of a city person and that city life is something, having that brick and embracing it, more of a loft space, you can do something that relaxes you there. So again, this comes down to that. Now, here's one thing I want you to be really careful with. One of the common things is making it smell good. Yes, very clean, scented can be relaxing. However, I want to warn you, many of the scents and essential oils and things like that you see out there are really bad to be breathing in. So the last thing you want to be doing is vaping scented chemicals coming in. So be really careful. I don't recommend any of the plug-in air fresheners or any of the really essential oils that are blasting around in the house. Those can really take your VOCs and cram them up through the ceiling and make it an unhealthy space. So that would be something that would not be soothing and relaxing. Even though you go, that smells good, you could be creating more longer-term health issues. So we don't want to do that. But cleaning up, having a place that's scented, that's clean, maybe flowers if you're not allergic, but creating something that's really cool. And you could do other stuff in there as far as scents that aren't, like a leather chair can smell good. There's a lot of different things like that you can do that make it smell good and without it being unhealthy. So think about those things. Those are all great things that can work. And then if you've got, photos, family photos, if your family's not stressful, I know some people go, don't get my family away from me. I don't want to see my family. I'm just going to be upset. Great. I understand that. because a lot of people out there had tougher family lives, so maybe family photos isn't your answer. But that's really an important one of creating that relaxing space. And, the other thing too is getting organized, getting the clutter out of there. Clutter can cause undue stress, and other mental health issues can come out with that. So really making sure that you're organized in this space, that you're eliminating those distractions, and of course, natural light. So natural light that you can control is great. So if you've got a big window, maybe a skylight, maybe you need to add a skylight. And the other thing is creating and controlling the light you have in the space. So work with the light that you've got. So maybe taking in there and putting in like a smart dimmer or something like that you can have it preset to your desired lighting. If you like it at 25% and you can do a preset where you just hit the button and it goes to 25, whatever that is, you can help create that natural space. And of course, anything you can do to personalize it is smart. But really, bright colors, I'd probably avoid in most cases. And busy patterns for a lot of people can be overwhelming as well. So creating that, like the whites, the creams, the light grays, some of those other colors can be really good. And then, just creating that stress-free place as much as you can. Maybe it's something you take your phone and just put it off, because maybe those work emails and text messages are really hurting your focus on relaxation. So doing what you can to create that space around you. And, plants, greenery, that's good. If you've got that outside, that's cool. But really, a lot of these things you can do are stuff that's really inexpensive. So think about those relaxing colors, some of that stuff. Those are all important things. And really, it's a good time to get those plants out maybe and start playing with that. And if you've got art, something like that, but really, this comes down to you and what is good for you and what you're comfortable with and what is your relaxation. So these are all things, if you get into some of the more Asian relaxation techniques, they say that like sand is a natural, way to induce tranquility. So you could have an hourglass or, sand garden, something like that. But really, the other thing you can do, and this is kind of my last one here, is the sound of nature. There are so many different noise generators out there that you can put up. There's apps out there that'll play relaxation stuff. Anything you can do, for me, going out and hitting the hot tub. That is something that I can go out and relax and take 15, 20 minutes, go out and relax in that, and it just changes how you do it. It just really changes how relaxation is. So think about that and think about comfortable textures as well. Maybe it's a really cozy blanket for the wintertime. Maybe it's someplace cool in the summertime. Maybe that's the room that has the window air conditioner in it, so you can be calm in that. But really creating textures that are comfortable and textures that are calm. Maybe it's the cover over the couch that you just got, or a blanket or cushions or pillows. So anyway, think about all those different things that you can do to make things more comfortable for you. And that's going to create a nice space for you. So when we come back, I want to talk about some of the stuff that you can do to really help create comfort. Because if you want to be comfortable in your house, and if it's not, whether or not it's a new piece of furniture that feels like you're sitting on a piece of plywood, or maybe it's something within the home that you can change, these are all things that can change how you look at your home and how you spend it. And especially as we get into fall and winter, where a lot of us are going to be inside a lot more, these are important things. We'll talk about more of this, of creating your house to be more like a home, when Around the House returns.
Hey, this is Ron Keel, the Metal Cowboy from Keel, the Ron Keel Band and Steeler. We are rocking Around the House with Eric G.
Raise you.
Welcome back to Around the House Show. I'm Eric G, and we've been talking about today in this episode my top projects to make your house feel like a home. And so really what we've been talking about is trying to do different things that are going to make things more comfortable for you. And the next one here I want to talk about is creating comfort. And that can be a lot of different things. It's depending on how you live your life. But the number one that I say, and this is an important one when you're trying to create something that is relaxation or creating comfort, is to get the right mattress. And I tell you what, that is something that can change how you live. If you can take care of yourself so you can get a good night's sleep, that for many people is a great way to recharge, refresh, and start your new day. And it's funny, I used to live on cheap mattresses. I didn't care. But really, until I got my first good mattress, I realized that, wow, I was missing out. Because many times, especially with my body, as much as I've hurt myself over the years with so many different, dozens of surgeries, all the different things I've done to my body over the years, I tell you what, having the mattress that works for you is important. Now, here's what I did this last time, and I was shocking because, I used to be going here to like Costco and I'd buy the mattress in a box, and that was okay, that kind of things. I found a company here locally, and you can order from them too. But I tell you what, this isn't a commercial, but it's just something that was my answer because they're not paying me. I don't have an agreement with them. This is just something that worked out for me. Now, this company here in Portland, Mattress Warehouse USA, lovely people down there, but they make mattresses, and it's not your traditional, strip mall mattress retailer. They actually have an old VW, like 1950s, 60s VW dealership. So they got like 3 or 4 bays in the back. Just a tiny little Volkswagen dealership from the 50s and 60s. But long story short, they have a mattress store up front, and they got 4 or 5 people in the back building mattresses. And they built one for me that was exactly what I wanted. And I do like to be able to go in and pick what I want, and they make it for you. They're like, hey, what texture do you want on it? You can get you this. So, okay, now we have it what it feels like. And a great mattress store like that is where you can walk in. It's almost like going to your eye doctor, your optometrist, where they're like, well, what about this? What about this? A or B, A or B. And then after you get it dialed in, it gets harder and harder to figure out what you want. But really, creating that space right there. And then I paired that up with an adjustable bed. So if we wanted to sit up and watch television, or if I wanted to sit there in what they call 0G, where I could have my feet up and my body up so it feels like I'm floating, that is a nice way to relax, because all of a sudden your bed now gets changed into almost like a comfortable couch that you can sit there on. Now, I don't say you have to be sitting there all day, but just creating another space to relax. And maybe you and your family, or it's just you need a place to go hide, place to go relax, read a book, whatever. And if that's your bedroom, there's nothing wrong with that. But finding the best mattress you can afford, and you don't have to spend a ton of money. I've had some really great king mattresses that were under $2,000 that were really great. So it's really finding what's good for you, whether it's hard, soft, or even it's one of the adjustable ones where you can change the air pressure in it to change what it is, one of those sleep numbers or whatever they are. Whatever that is, figure it out. You don't have to spend a boatload of money to get something comfortable for you. And then you get a good night's sleep, and there's nothing more you want than sleeping well, because that's going to change how you look at the day. If you're tired all day long because you haven't been sleeping, and many of you know what that feels like, that is not the way to go. So next up, other furniture. So maybe it's that, maybe it's getting a new couch, maybe it's getting a lazy boy, maybe whatever that style is in comfort. But really creating a place in there for you to lay down, kick up your feet, relax. That's another one. And then for many people, they relax by watching TV, watching a movie, and it helps them turn off. And that's a bad habit that I have myself for creating comfort. I have a busy day, as you guys know. When I go to bed at night, if I'm still thinking about what I'm doing tomorrow morning, okay, I got to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I go down the list. If I can't turn that off, I need to turn on the TV and find a fairly mindless show to watch. And I'll check that out. But having that TV that you can control there and be able to use to relax with, maybe that's your answer. Maybe it's a good sound system. Maybe you love music. Maybe you want to have the best sound system that you can afford, and you want a place just to listen to music because that's relaxing. That's a good way to do it. So don't be afraid to chase down that and find what you need. But really creating comfort for that is going to be really smart. So spend some time, get the right stuff, and it'll be a great project for you. Let me talk about a project that works out really well that I've done around my home. And it's something that my wife has managed. Julie's taking care of this stuff, but it's something that's really cool. And there's a lot of different companies out there that do it. But for instance, one of them is called Happy Tiles. And these are photo tiles that go on this kind of foam board, basically. And what you do is you upload your favorite photos and a frame style around it of what you want. And then they ship them out to you, and you can actually hang these on the wall, and they're really cool how they work. And so there's lots of different ways to do this. There's mixed tiles. There's all these different companies out there depending on what you want. So what we did at my house is they're more of a foam board, printed foam board. So there's a layer on the top and you can hang them on the wall. And so basically what you're doing is creating these wall art blocks that you basically peel the back off, and mixed tile is one that we've done before. And you can go through and you order them. So you'll take your favorite photos, send them off, and a week or two later they show up. And all you do is peel the self-adhesive tape off the back, kind of get your laser level up and line them up, and you can create a space or a space of grids or whatever pattern on the wall you like. And I tell you what, it is really cool how you can take a blank wall and put your favorite photos. Maybe it's ones you've took, maybe it's from your vacation, maybe it's the kids or family or whatever you want to put up there. Maybe it's from your wedding, whatever you want to do. You get to decide. And so you get to go up there and do whatever you want to do of photos. It could be something funny. It could be something, concert, whatever you want to do to make it your space. But take a look. One of the companies, Mixed Tiles, I think does one of the better ones out there. And they're super affordable. And then you can create your own photo collage on the wall. But what's cool is you're not like taking them and putting them up on a bulletin board where you're overlapping them. This is something where you can make them where they're like a 8 by 8 inch, or larger, depending on what size you go, to go up on the wall. And it's really cool how that works. And so they're really inexpensive. And a lot of these companies offer free shipping, that kind of stuff. So it's really easy to handle. But I tell you what, some of these are super cool, and they are just 20 minutes. You got them up on the wall. You can send them as a gift to somebody if you're really trying to take care of somebody. And again, not a sponsored piece. I never talked to them about this stuff. I am a paying customer, or actually my wife is a paying customer. So that's a good little one. Mixtiles.com is probably the best place to go. And you can go through there. There's other companies that do it. And so don't be so brand specific, but that's just one of the companies that I've seen out there that has done a great job. And you can go through and create your own art for the wall. And that's something you can do that can be really relaxing and help make your house more like a home. And you can do it in different places. Do it in the bedroom. You can go through and take pictures of your family, maybe your childhood as you grow up, whatever you've got pictures of. You can take them and create someplace cool. And right now there's a lot of sales and stuff in the fall, so it's something to take a look at. That one last time I was on there, they had a flash sale, but they've always got sales. So if you spend a little time, if you're looking for that deal, you can go through and do that and create a really cool space. All right, when we come back, it'll be the last segment. We'll wrap this conversation up. We'll be back after these important messages. Don't go anywhere. to the Around the House show. This is where we help get the most out of your home through information and education. We've been talking about in this segment about, or actually this hour, of how to make your house more like a home. So just kind of create that space that is going to be amazing for you, that's going to be more relaxing, and a place that you can just recharge and be ready to go for the next day. Now, I'm going to do some tips here that I thought in this last thing that we can go through, and just little inexpensive things that you can do around your home that are really helpful, that are kind of, on a budget. Just little things you can do that are inexpensive, that don't take a big investment, but can help you do it. So these are some different tips of things you can do. So candles is one, just a great candle for relaxation. And, here's another one that I thought was really interesting, and this is something I've done in the past, is that, we talked about the pictures and stuff, but having friends over and creating some new memories, like getting your closest friends together, right? And putting them together and creating something that's going to be super cool. So get together, have a great time, take some pictures, and make that the inspiration of this new space. Now, here's a basic one you can do. If you're someone that likes to take showers or baths and that's something that relaxes you, go out and update those towels. Go get some really, really nice ones. And you don't have to spend a ton of money, but get something that's going to do the job. Maybe they're oversized, maybe they're whatever. Especially as we get into colder months here in North America, get something that's going to be much more comfortable. Maybe it's a bathrobe, something like that. Another project that I did that was something that turned out really well at my house is that instead of having a headboard in my bedroom, I took some flooring that was designed to be it was actually a hardwood, but it was a engineered hardwood, and it was in a herringbone pattern. So I went through and created and built my own headboard. And how this worked was really cool. So I started out and marked out how wide I wanted it to be, so I had a few inches left on either side of the bed. And what I did is I created this herringbone pattern and went floor to ceiling with it. So I had this wood that matched everything. Wasn't a perfect match like that, so it wasn't like I was getting all matchy-matchy, but it had some texture, it had the herringbone, it looked out really cool. And what I did is I created that so it went all the way up to floor to ceiling. So I didn't have a place to have to be cleaned, but it gave us that headboard feel to it, which was really cool. And then I wired up some lights that were in the ceiling above us. So my wife had a light on her side for reading. I had one on mine that I had control of right there next to us. So outside of the normal lighting, I had those lights up above. And that worked out super cool. So I was really excited by doing it that way. And it created another space in there that really gave a luxurious feel, which to me was kind of trick. And that was something that was really easy. If you can find a flooring that you like, or even a wallpaper, because I did a wallpaper on the other side of that, it turned out really cool, and it created that luxurious space that I was looking for, which gave it something that was really, really comfortable for me. So that is another one there. Now, we were talking about how I didn't like to have essential oils and things like that are smells, but there are a lot of different like showering products and stuff like that, or bath products you can get that have a more, a smell like that give you not something that's super perfumey or something like that, because I don't want to be introducing anything into the air like an aerosol or one of those air fresheners or things, but really creating something that's going to be healthy. So think about that, of how you're going to do that in your home. But I really want to help you create that space that gives you a place to escape. Because I think now more than ever, we need to have a place to escape from reality a little bit, just so we have a place that we can recharge and relax. Now, here is one trick that I did that just helped me personally, and maybe it won't help you, but it was something that I went through. I took a Saturday and went through my entire closet. And because I've lost so much weight, I've lost about a little over 60 pounds in the last year, I have really had to go through my clothes and high grade some clothes that quite frankly didn't fit anymore. And organizing my closet and getting that stuff that I didn't want removed and the clothes that are actually going to be fitting me is something that created some relaxation for me, because it was more organized. And I wasn't grabbing stuff in the morning while I was getting ready or going out to dinner. I wasn't grabbing a piece of clothing that wouldn't fit, which added frustration to me. So really, creating some spots. If you have places in your home that are stressful, like organizational or things like that. Now, I can't help you if that's your spouse or your significant other, your partner. If they're stressful, then maybe you should get them some help. And there's nothing wrong with that. And trust me, I've had those situations in my life in the past. Not now, but I've had significant others in the past that were adding very much stress to my life. And the one thing I want to say here is if you're looking to create that place of solace and you're looking for some immediate space, maybe doing that major remodel is not going to do that. So I want to talk about that for a second as the last bit here of this, because remodeling and having contractors in your home or tearing your house up can be one of the most stressful things you can do. Now, I think a kitchen remodel is the number one stressful thing in your life that you can do to your house, because you have people coming into your home for 3 or 4 months at a time. And yeah, there's not really that 3-week kitchen remodel that you see people at the home shows advertise. Don't believe in that. I'm not a fan of that theory. If someone's going to come in and paint the cabinets, put some new knobs on it, and maybe put a new backsplash up, yeah, you're cool. But if you're doing a gutted remodel and they're saying they can do that in a couple, 2 or 3 weeks, nearly impossible unless you've got something that's very simple or small. But when it comes down to it, the process is the same. So I would not put remodeling in here as something now down the road, 6 months from now, it might be very pleasant. It might be the right thing. But I tell you what, there are more divorces that were caused by sitting there doing remodeling and them not being able to handle that. So these are things I want you to be very careful of. And I don't want to see people blowing up relationships that can be saved over this, but remodeling is tough on everyone in the household. And by the time you're done, no matter how good that contractor is, you are tired of them invading your space every day. And more importantly, they're invading your personal space. So take some time. Think about that. If you are having relationship issues, remodeling should not be your fix-it. It's no different of my married friends that went out and decided to, hey, we had a tough relationship, so we're going to have some kids, and so hopefully that ties us together. That usually doesn't work. Usually ends up blowing things up even more, because these are all things that in your life you need to have dialed in before you do that, let alone have something that's going to create more stress. So here's one bit of advice from me as doing 30 years of kitchen and bath design. Before you start that project, make sure you have your place to go relax and hide. Maybe you're renting an apartment for 3 months. Maybe if you can't afford that, maybe you're going to another part of the house, but create that relaxing space well before you have to go do this. So make sure that you have your space to hide, your space to call your own, your space to escape. If you're working from home, having noise around the house, maybe you need to go rent an office space for 3 or 4 months at your local little place up the street. You know, there's so many business parks out there that have those little rentable offices for that. No matter what you're doing, make sure that you have your life dialed in and your space dialed in, so that way you have this covered, because I don't want to see anybody have to make life more difficult by remodeling. And that's just the plain facts. It's going to be stressful. And those are things that can make this even worse, because I tell you what, every year I saw things go sideways for people just because of the invasion of their space. And that's just the contractor coming over and doing what they do best by remodeling your home. All right, everybody, if you want to find out more about me, or if you have questions about this, hit me up. Head over to aroundthehouseonline.com and you can find out more about us there. It's got our videos. It's got some stuff about me. And if you want to find out more about my background and how I got into remodeling, how I got into interior design and construction, and where did I learn all this stuff? That's in our episode that I put up. That's in our premium membership, and you can get over there. It's only $4, so it's not bad. Head over to aroundthehouseonline.com and look for the insider over there, and you can subscribe right there. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in to Around the House. I really appreciate you. If there's something you want to hear me talk about on this show, head over to Around the House Online. Send me a message there. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in Around the House. We'll see you next week.
Somewhere unseen and undiscovered, anywhere beyond the mean. Life is a love song, let's be lovers. We're all over the radio. Take my hand, I know where to go. All over the radio with you.
Hey, it's Eric G. from Around the House. Are you planning a decking or siding project this year? If you are, you've got to check out my friends at Millboard. Millboard is a completely different kind of composite decking and cladding that enhances outdoor spaces with enduring distinction. Hand-molded from the finest oak, it realistically mimics the natural grain and color of premium hardwood. If you're looking for something that doesn't look like plastic and instead real wood, check out millboard.com. Make sure and check out that interview we did just a few weeks back. That's millboard.com.